The waiting room smelled like disinfectant and quiet surrender. I recognized my son before he saw me. Same jawline, same hands, different posture, folded inward like a man trying not to exist. His jacket was wrinkled, beard uneven, eyes hollowed out by weeks of sleeping in chairs meant to punish hope. He looked up. "Where's Mia?" The question landed without sound, like a body hitting water too deep to splash. He swallowed. "Her grandparents won't let me see her. She's been hospitalized for 2 weeks. They said if I come near her room, they'll have me arrested." I felt the room tilt, not from shock, from clarity. This wasn't panic, this was strategy, just not ours. I didn't answer him, didn't touch his shoulder, didn't offer comfort. I walked past him, straight to the nurse's station. My hand didn't shake when I opened my folder. One document, stamped, signed, dated. 10 minutes later, security was escorting my son down the corridor, toward his daughter's room. Behind us, Patricia screamed, "You can't do this!" I leaned in close enough for only her to hear. I just did, and that was only the beginning. I raised my son alone after his wife died. Car accident, clean report, closed file. Mia was 6 when it happened, old enough to remember her mother's voice, young enough to forget the way adults lie. Patricia and Harold, her parents, stepped in immediately. Too immediately. They brought casseroles, filed paperwork, spoke softly about what's best for the child. They smiled while they did it. At first it looked like grief, shared mourning, shared responsibility. Then the details stopped adding up. School forms changed, emergency contacts removed, medical consent rerouted. My son would find out about appointments after they happened, updates delivered like charity. When he questioned them, they used words like stability and environment. When that failed, they used the law. Restraining orders don't appear overnight, neither do accusations. They told people he was unstable, that grief had made him dangerous. I watched my son shrink under it, watched him doubt his own memories. And then Mia was hospitalized, and no one called him. That's when I stopped pretending this was misunderstanding. This wasn't concern, it was erasure. I didn't confront them. I listened. I requested records they assumed no one would check. Medical files, custody filings, insurance claims. Patterns emerge when liars get comfortable. Patricia had been signing consent forms for years, using outdated guardianship paperwork. Harold had a friend in family court, a retired clerk who still knew which drawers opened quietly. Phone records showed calls placed minutes after every doctor visit, not to my son, to a private attorney. I sat at my kitchen table at night, highlighter moving slowly, every line another confirmation. Mia's condition wasn't sudden. It had been worsening for months. They knew. They just didn't tell her father. I watched my son during this time, how he smiled through it, how he blamed himself. That was the cruelest part. They didn't just steal access, they rewrote reality. So I waited, because truth, when timed correctly, doesn't need volume. The document came on a Tuesday morning, courier envelope, heavy paper, emergency power of attorney, fraudulently extended, illegally enforced. I drove to their house without calling. Patricia answered the door already defensive. Harold hovered behind her like a witness afraid of testifying. I placed the file on their dining table. "Explain this," I said. Patricia flipped pages too quickly. Harold didn't look at them at all. "She's sick," Patricia whispered. "We were protecting her." I nodded, because I already knew the lie. "You altered consent, blocked parental access, filed false claims." Harold finally spoke. "He wasn't fit." I leaned forward. "You decided that without authority, without evidence, without mercy." Patricia started crying, real tears this time. I stood. "You don't get to play guardian angels after committing theft," They didn't stop me when I left. They knew the ground had shifted. Back at the hospital, I showed the nurse manager the document, then the addendum, then the letter from our attorney. Security moved efficiently. No raised voices, no spectacle. Patricia screamed anyway. "You're hurting her!" I watched her being escorted away. "No," I said calmly, "you did." The RCMP officer arrived an hour later, asked measured questions. I answered them all. When my son walked into Mia's room, she smiled, weak, pale, alive. Patricia wasn't there to see it. That was the punishment. Not jail, absence. I sat alone in my car afterward, engine off, hands still. I felt no triumph, only order. Some people think revenge is loud, that justice needs anger to function. They're wrong. Control is quieter.